guys, how are you? I hope you're well. Welcome back to another Mental Health Monday. If you're new to this channel, I am Maddie Bruce and I'm excited to have you with me today. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in hearing about medication. I touched my medication in my How I Recovered from BPD video, and a few of you have asked me if I could go into more detail into things like medication and also therapy. So I thought I would sit down today and do a video on medication, what medication I have been on, and just give you an honest review of what I thought it was like to be on, because I feel like people's stories are so much more important than what you read on the internet. So we're just gonna sit down and chat about the different medications I've been on. What I'm diagnosed with is borderline personality disorder. But for a long time, psychiatrists just thought I had standard depression and anxiety. It took me a while. I think it was maybe 3 years ago that I was properly diagnosed with BPD. So yeah, it's worth actually noting though, with BPD, there's no specific medication for it. There's different medications for the symptoms of BPD. That makes it a little bit difficult, and usually people with BPD do end up on multiple different medications tackling each thing, and well, I don't personally think that is a good thing. But there are medications for things like impulsiveness, obviously depression, anxiety and aggression, which all tie into BPD. So my medication story, let's take you back to when I was 16. I'd say towards the end of my school years, so at 15 and 16, that's when I started getting severe mental health issues. I would say that's when it started building up. It's when I started self-harming. I was going for my GCSEs, so I was putting myself under a lot of pressure, but it wasn't until I got to college when I was 16 years old. So for those of you in the US, you go to a school and then you can either stay on at your school as a sixth form if it has a sixth form, or you go somewhere else for college. So I was 16, I had just got a new boyfriend, my first serious boyfriend. So I was making loads of new friends because my boyfriend was from a different area and he'd brought in his whole friendship group. So I was mainly kind of hanging out with them and just loving life, just doing what you do in your first year of college, going to parties, seeing my boyfriend. I had an amazing best friend at the time, Phoebe, and that was all great. My home life was pretty normal. However, in that time, they made you do January exams. So like, you start college in September and then a few months later, you've got to do your first like proper serious exam. And that was around the time in the lead up to that I started not feeling quite right. I remember having conversations with my boyfriend just saying that there was something wrong with me, I wasn't okay. I was basically just putting myself under a lot of pressure with exams, and I was starting to feel depressed. So I went to my doctors and they made me fill out like one of these forms to like gauge how serious their depression is. They make you like rate things out of 5. Sorry if my voice is a bit croaky, I still have a cold and it's so annoying. And then pretty much without hesitation, because I said I didn't want to do therapy because I was too scared to go and see someone, she put me on Fluoxetine. Now I was old enough to go to the doctors and my parents not come with me, so my parents didn't actually know that I was taking antidepressants for a while. And with Fluoxetine, I don't think I actually had any side effects, well, noticeable side effects with that. So I was on Fluoxetine, and I remember it was New Year's and we went to a New Year's party, and I had decided not to drink because I was kind of newly on these antidepressants and I didn't really want to like interfere with them. I'd heard that alcohol and antidepressants really didn't go hand in hand. That's actually another idea for a video, because I did get a comment the other day asking if I drank whilst I was on antidepressants. But then as the months went on, I really didn't feel that Fluoxetine was doing anything for me. So kind of after New Year's, I went back to the doctors and just said, there's no change, to be honest. Like after a few months when they're supposed to have kicked in, I didn't feel any different. So she then changed me to Sertraline. And to be fair to her, she did encourage me to get therapy. And at this point I thought, okay, I'll make a compromise, because she suggested that I did this talking therapy on the phone where I didn't actually have to see anyone face to face. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. That's a whole nother story. I've made a video on that because it was a horrendous experience. I'll link it here. The police ended up coming around to my house, so safe to say I haven't been back to see that doctor, and I would never ever recommend that service I talk to anyone who lives in the south of England. So yes, we were on Sertraline, and I was really bad with Sertraline because I was on it during my summer exams. The only thing I really remember about Sertraline is walking through the library and having what I now know are called brain zaps, where I'd forgot to take my medication for a day or two and my body just, I felt like I was gonna faint. I didn't have any severe side effects on that either, not that I remember. I feel like I would have kind of remembered, but then that period of my life was a little bit of a daze. I was still with my boyfriend at the time. He seemed pretty supportive because I don't think my issues were like that serious. I just knew that I didn't feel okay. So then we get to the summer 2012 maybe, and that's the summer where my what I refer to as big breakdown happened. So stupidly, never do this, please. I took myself off my Sertraline, and I didn't even do it like gradually. I literally just stopped taking it, and the reason I stopped taking it is because of this incident with this phone iTalk counselling service sending the police around my house. I then lost all trust in any mental health professionals. I hadn't even gone down the road yet, and already they had broken my trust. And you know what, I just thought, no, I'm gonna do this all by myself. I don't need this medication, I don't need these therapists. Fast forward a few months of the shittest summer in my life. I think the thing was, I didn't really know what was happening to me at the time because I didn't have a knowledge of mental health, and I wasn't googling things. I didn't know anyone else with mental health issues, so I felt completely alone. When you're withdrawing from medication, let's just say it's just not good. You feel like, I would compare it to like an alcoholic or a drug addict going cold turkey. That's how I felt. And it was supposed to be like one of the best summers, but it just wasn't. I got sent to France as like a French exchange because my mum's a French teacher. She knew someone, and then I went to stay with them, which was all right, but I just wanted to come home, and then my parents wouldn't let me come home, and then just so many traumatic things happened in that summer. And then at the end of it, my boyfriend broke up with me because I was not well, and I just refused to believe it, that he'd broken up with me, and that kind of just was like the last straw. And I was just like, what's the point in living if I can't have him anymore? So that's when I was probably my most ill. And this is when another medication, Venlafaxine, comes into play. I was not getting out of my bed. One day my parents kind of had enough. I think they just discovered that I had self-harmed because they had no idea that had been going on for years. And they dragged me to the doctors in my pajamas. I literally refused to get out of bed, so my dad literally picked me up. I was just, hadn't washed, whatever, in my pajamas, to see a lovely Irish doctor actually at my practice. I would like to go back and thank him. And he could clearly see how depressed I was, so he put me on Venlafaxine, which I feel like is one that is usually used for severe cases of depression. I'm not really sure, like I'm really bad at remembering like milligrams and dosages, so I can't even remember what dose of fluoxetine or sertraline I was on, because I didn't really pay attention of those things at the time, because I just was so new to the mental health world. I was just taking what they gave me. But with Venlafaxine, because I then developed a knowledge, I was able to remember the dosages. Although I can't remember what he started me off on. He must have started me off on 75 milligrams, which is what they usually start off on. And then that basically gradually increased, and I was on, it was depending on how bad I felt, it was like 225 to 300, which is the dose that seemed to work for me, that didn't make me fully like zombie and disassociated, but still helped me. And I'll never forget that doctor just told me that this medication is gonna give you that boost you need to get out of this mood. It's not a solution, but it's going to give you a platform to work from, and it did. I mean, I did probably a week later end up in a psychiatric hospital, but I still feel like when the medication kind of kicked in, that and hospital, like I talked about in my BPD video, that helped me. So yeah, I was on venlafaxine for maybe about 6 years, and I have to say we didn't part on good terms. Definitely a memorable drug. So I do have to credit it for pulling me out of my absolute worst time. It did that. Well, I did that, and it kind of helped me on the side. Whether it actually did, I don't know, or whether it was like placebo, I'm not sure. But side effects weren't great. When I was on venlafaxine, I would get cold sweats every night. So I would sweat, but I would be freezing cold, and this would often wake me up. Paired with nightmares, I would get a lot of nightmares. My peeing was really irregular and weird. I had zero libido, like zero. Honestly, down there, nothing, nada. I didn't feel anything, and that was really, really frustrating for me. It was just like numb. Like this whole area was just numb. It also really, really amplified feelings of dissociation. So I really, really felt like I was living in a bell jar for a lot of the time. Despite all of these side effects, I did take it for a while, and I had so many times when I would run out because you don't keep on top of it when you're not well. My mum then took over that role, and I remember there was one time we went to Ireland for like a family thing, and I'd forgotten them, and literally she had to like phone my doctors back home to fax it over to an Irish doctor so I could get the prescription. Like, she was amazing with things like that. But yeah, many a time did I have to call for an emergency prescription and just be like, well, it wasn't me because I couldn't even speak. I would be like curled up in the bed in a ball, shaking, sweating, whatever. It's just not nice when you forget it. Don't forget to take your meds, guys. Anxiety wise, when I was on venlafaxine, I was also on propranolol, which worked so well for me in the beginning, and then I feel like my body just got immune to it and it just stopped working. I will always remember when I went to Thorpe Park and I went on what's it called, is it Stealth, the one that goes up and down, and I literally felt nothing. Like, I didn't even feel any adrenaline, obviously, because that drug is designed to like tackle the adrenaline or whatever. It's actually used to treat epilepsy and seizures. And I had a girl say to me that she was prescribed it and she thought that it was like the wrong thing because of that. But no, like propranolol is designed to treat anxiety as well. It's a beta blocker. So the combination of venlafaxine and propranolol really did help me. So yeah, I was on venlafaxine throughout my recovery, and I would say recently, maybe, is it 2 years now? I don't know. It must be 2 years or a year and a half, I'm not sure. Anyway, I decided I wanted to come off it. I tried once, it didn't work. So I went back on it, and me and my psychiatrist came up with a different plan. So what we did was transferred me onto another medication. So I went from venlafaxine onto Vortioxetine, which is not one of the popular antidepressants. My psychiatrist seemed to think it had good reviews and not that many side effects, which I am pleased to say it didn't. So would recommend. Lola, can you stop licking yourself, please? Thank you, I love you. By the way, if you can see a little fluffy thing down here, it is my dog Lola. She's just chilling. Should we say hi to everyone? You gotta say hi. You're a bit sleepy. Is that a bit bright for you? Okay, I love you. Literally with venlafaxine, we got me down to the lowest dose of it, and then I would halve the tablets of that, and then I would take it every other day. And still, like, when I then stopped for a week, I could, no, just no. That was horrific. I was sweating, I couldn't concentrate, I felt sick, I was weak, dizzy, just no. It is scary to think that when you try and go without these drugs, that happens. And you know, doctors are so quick to put you on them, but when it comes to taking you off them, there's not as many measures in place. Someone did actually mention to me that with venlafaxine you can get it in an oral solution, so you can control the amount, but they're hesitant to do that because it's expensive. There's so many people on antidepressants who can't come off them because of the side effects, and I just think that's really sad. But you can do it. I've done it. So Vortioxetine, I took that for a few months, and then when I stopped that, I got withdrawals. Yeah, my mood was all over the place, but you know, I was off them. I wanted to come off them because I basically thought that the side effects far outweighed the benefits of the drug, and by this point I feel like my main issue at the moment, and was back then, is anxiety and not so much depression. I do get periods of depression, but I would say like overall my main problem is anxiety, so I didn't feel like I needed to be on antidepressants, especially venlafaxine, for that. So yeah, then when anxiety was my main problem, I was on Pregabalin for a bit, and that was maybe towards the beginning of this year. Basically it worked in the beginning, but then I felt it was making me a lot more disassociated, and again I didn't think that was worth it, so I slowly weaned myself off that. And yeah, I mean, it does work for some people. It didn't work for me. I'm still on the hunt for something that works for me. It is worth noting also that when I was really ill, I was prescribed melatonin, so I found it really hard to sleep. Really liked melatonin, but I feel it's harder to get hold of now. And I've also been on Temazepam, which I also think was good, but you know, both of them you're not supposed to be on for a long period of time because it's not good for you. So yeah, nowadays I just try and stick to herbal things like lavender and meditation, things like that. If that fails, I'll just watch something on Netflix until I fall asleep. Another one I also have a story on. I don't know whether I should make a full video on this because I feel like it would be, not entertaining, but just a lesson. Yeah, I'll make a story on it. Diazepam. Diazepam is something that I am prescribed every so often. It's Valium. It's basically like an instantly working tablet. You take it and it calms you down. And that leads me to today. So for so long I've been saying like I'm not on any medication, and that's true, I'm not on any medication. However, I've had a really tough period over these past 2 months. Like, it's probably been my worst setback in a good few years. I don't really know what happened. I think I just got overwhelmed, and like I've been feeling physically very drained and tired, so that hasn't helped, and just it's led to me reverting back to a lot of unhelpful behaviors. So I reached out to my psychiatrist and asked him if there was a medication that he thought would be suitable, because I just feel like my body needs a break. Like, I can tackle the mental stuff in my head to an extent, but when I've got all this stuff going on in my body, when I feel constantly on edge all the time, when I feel sick, when I'm shaky, I just can't tackle it all together. That's just too much for me to do. So he has prescribed me I think it's called, is it Clonazepam? Which is apparently like a cousin or a sister to Diazepam. Does the same thing, you take it, it calms you down. But basically I have an issue because I was sent some CBD oil by a company. Let me go get it for you to show you. I'm gonna do a whole video on CBD oil because I think it's really interesting, CBD and like mental health and stuff. But I was sent this, and literally on the same day my Clonazepam arrived. I'm torn as to which one to go for, because I've tried CBD in the past and it hasn't relieved me to the extent that I've wanted. So yeah, what do you guys reckon? Shall I do a week trying this out and vlog it and tell you how I feel? Because I think that'll be really good, and then I can tell you about CBD oil and the different things it has been proven to help. The thing I would take it for is anxiety. But yeah, anyway, that's my current predicament. I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I feel like I need medication, but again, like I said, I feel like I just need a break, because it gets tiring trying to fight mental illness, you know. So yeah, I think I've covered everything in the medication world there. I am gonna make a video on the pros and cons of medication, because I think it's a really important discussion. I did try before, but it got a really negative response because I basically said how shit venlafaxine was. I think I was just angry at it at the time. But I'm gonna do a more informed video. And since you've got to the end, you will be waiting for the giveaway, probably fast forwarding through all the shit that I'm talking. But yeah, I've got a giveaway for you today. This is it. It is a lovely Elemis gift box for Christmas. Hopefully I'll be able to get it out to you in time for Christmas. I'm going to be picking the winner after 24 hours, so it gives me time to get it out to you. But we have this Elemis Skin Radiance box. It's beautifully packaged. Let me show you what's inside. You're going to get this lovely box with 2 Elemis products in it. These are full size. They're amazing. Love Elemis. They're one of my favorite brands. In here there is the Hydro Boost Day Cream to give you a little boost of hydration. This stuff is so good for the winter, especially for dry skin. And then this, which is, oh my god, this is amazing. This is a peptide night recovery cream oil. So you put this one on in the day, in the morning, and then you put this one on night, and your skin is going to be glowing, it's going to be hydrated, it's going to be amazing. So all you need to do to enter is leave a comment down below saying that you've entered the giveaway, along with anything nice you want to say about the video too. But leave your Instagram username, because I'm going to be announcing the winner over on Instagram tomorrow. So watch my Instagram story in the evening. I usually announce the winner at about like 9, so I give you a good amount of time to enter. So that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I hope this was like helpful, informative, or whatever. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and if you're new to my channel, then please hit the subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.